Hi, this is a tutorial for NASA's Eyes on the Earth software. So when you go to Eyes on the Earth, this is what you will see, and you can access this from any device with a web browser. You will go to climate.nasa.gov, and if you click on this icon here, it will take you to Eyes on the Earth. Or you can go to the Eyes homepage, which looks like this, at eyes.nasa.gov, and scroll down to Eyes on the Earth and click it, and it'll open up in a new tab on any device, your mobile, tablet, laptop, desktop, any operating system, anything with a web browser and an internet connection, and you are good to go. So when you open it up, this is what you'll see. You see Earth as it looked the day before, in this case, March 27th. Today is March 28th, 2023. And what we're looking at is a real-time 3D simulation of many of NASA's Earth science missions in orbit. And with this software, we can also map the data that the satellites take right back on Earth. So to start out with, let's click on Satellites Now. I'm going to go full screen here. So with Satellites Now, this is where they are right now, this very second. So if you look around the globe, this is where each of these satellites is actually at. They are still moving quite quickly, but we're at 1 second per second right here. We can, of course, speed it up. 2 minutes, 5 minutes per second. That gets a little crazy. So let's go back to real time. And then anyone you want to see, you just click the label and in you go. So let's find the International Space Station. Here it is. It's on the dark side of Earth. So let me click on it and you'll zoom into the 3D model. So there it is. There's the space station. You just click and drag and you can zoom in with your mouse wheel and have a look at it. This is a very, very interesting spacecraft, very popular. You can see there's other science missions on it, like EcoStress, and EMIT, and OCO3. It's kind of hard to tell how big this is, so we have a little feature here called Compare Size. Let's put up a school bus, and you can kind of get a picture of how big this thing is. So there you go. That's a school bus compared to the space station. So we've had astronauts on board for 20 plus years, and we do a lot of good science there. So you can learn about it here by expanding the label, and then we can go back to Earth as it is now. So not only can we see the models, we can see the data that they take. If you want to see any other mission, you go to the missions menu, and here are all the missions available in Eyes on the Earth. Each one will be connected to a data set if it has it. So for example, Grace Follow-On. This is a very interesting mission that measures the fluctuating field of gravity itself. 2 spacecraft following each other. You can also click on the data it takes related right here. So that is a global map of the gravity field from November 2022. Where it's red, that means there's less weight or mass. Where it's purple, that means there's more weight or mass compared to a previous baseline. And then we can actually animate this data. So if we go back in time, let's just do a few months here. So you can see the Amazon rainforest gets heavier with purple and lighter with red. And what that means is water and ice movement. So water and ice is the dominant factor that changes the gravitational field itself. So very, very, very interesting mission. And we monitor all kinds of vital signs, as we call them, of Earth. You can see shortcuts down here at the bottom. Let's just go to carbon monoxide, and we'll do it through the vital signs menu right here. So carbon monoxide is an indicator we get from fire. So you can look around the globe and see carbon monoxide concentrations at 18,000 feet in the atmosphere. Obviously, there was some fire over here, and we can go back in time and see where that came from. So if you go over here and click Animate this data, you can see. So it's going to go back a week by default. That may not be enough to see where it came from, so let's go back even longer. Let's go back to March 1st and go till now and see what happens. Let's see what March 1st looks like over there. Okay, it looks like it was from sub-Saharan Africa. But I can show you one from California that was a pretty bad fire. So let me show you the fires that burned down some of the sequoia forest in July of 2021. There's July 1st. You can just select your year, whatever you want here. I'll do the whole month of July, and I can show you this fire visually and how the carbon monoxide traveled around the globe. So now we're back in July, and if you look right here at California, it's going to start up. These were very large fires that started, and they were so big that the carbon monoxide plume traveled in the atmosphere all the way across the Atlantic to Europe. Now this is parts per billion, as you can see by the legend down here. Not parts per million, it's parts per billion. You can also see there's fires in sub-Saharan Africa, probably slash and burn agriculture. So this is a visual way to check out your home planet, see how it is doing. So let's go to surface temperature. This is a pretty simple one. What's the temperature globally? Anywhere I click, it'll tell me. That's Fahrenheit, but you can change it right here to Celsius. So this will be below 0, the freezing line. So the blue is actually 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you go around the globe, anywhere you click, you can see it. So India's pretty hot down there right now. And then, of course, the Himalayas are high elevation, so they're quite cold. And what's fun is to animate the data and watch the freezing line kind of move around. So this is just 1 week of animation. And you can see where the freezing line changes. So you can do this with all the data sets, and your choices are numerous. For example, we can go to soil moisture and salinity globally. We actually measure the moisture of soil all around the globe, as well as how salty is the ocean. So you can see soil moisture right now, where I am in California. It's pretty good because we've had a whole lot of rain recently. Normally it's not like that. Likewise, you can see where there's low soil moisture in the Sahara. And then in the ocean, you can see very high salinity, like in the Mediterranean or the Red Sea. And what's kind of interesting is to see where the Amazon River lets out into the ocean. You can see it affecting the salinity of the mouth of the river. So it makes the ocean less salty there, but then it's more salty as you move off from the fresh water. And again, you can go back in time with all of this stuff, which is a lot of fun. And we also have events. We also have the latest events. Let's go to right now. What's happened in 2023. These are just the land events. You can pick fires, storms, ice, water. Let's do all types. So it's a busy year already. Let's just check out something lately. Severe weather hits the south. So we'll map on some data right on top there and see what's going on here. So there were a lot of tornadoes recently in the southern United States. And so this is actual data about that and some information. And you can sort by any kind of event you want. Here's the latest one up here at the top. Also, I want to show you a new feature we added. It's called Ground Tracks. So if you want to see how a satellite draws out the data, let's go over here to Settings, turn on Ground Tracks, close it, and zoom out. And then you can see the line. You can see how fast the satellite draws a global image. So that's why we have 3-day averages instead of 1-day averages. So to take all this data beneath the satellite, you might need 2 to 3 days for a global image. And you can see those lines drawn out here. You can fast forward, watch them go faster. Here's 1 hour per second, which is just about almost a full trip around the Earth. You can watch the lines draw out. All right, so that's Ground Tracks. And then finally, I want to show you a new feature. We've added videos, data animation, and graphics. So if you want to see a certain event as a movie, such as atmospheric rivers, you just click on it. This will show you a global map of high precipitation events in the atmosphere called atmospheric rivers. So this is from 2017 when we had a large amount of precipitation hit the western United States. But you can see them all over the globe. Here they are passing through the Atlantic. And then at the South Pole, you can see a lot of them moving around. So that's a fun video. You can also see certain charts of interest, such as global carbon dioxide. So here's carbon dioxide over 800,000 years. You can see it always went up and down, but it never crossed 300 parts per million. And now we are at 418 parts per million, only in the last 150 years or so. So charts like that are available to better understand your world. So that is Eyes on the Earth. Please check it out. Have fun.